Hello, welcome to Module 6, Chapter 1. Now that you know the various funding sources, right, the various options available to you in terms of the funding, right, now we want to take the next step. And that's why we'll be talking about how you need to contact professors in this Module 6, right? It's important for you to contact professors. I tell all my clients, I tell all my mentee, I say, don't just go into applying to department. Ensure that you contact professors. These professors are people who are going to be your backbone. They're going to help with your recommendation when decisions are made, when the graduate committee sits to decide if you are to be admitted or not. These professors are going to speak for you. You don't just want to go behind them and make an application. They don't even know you. They don't even have any email exchange with you. So we have to send them cold email. So we call it the cold email strategy. Contacting professors using cold emails. All right. Why should you contact a professor? It's a question I know several people ask me, and I tell them these 5 reasons why you should contact a professor. The first reason is that these professors will be your potential advisor. At the end of the day, if you get admitted into this program, they are going to supervise your research. They are going to advise you on the steps to take. They're going to determine when you graduate, right? How far you spend in school, right? Most times they're going to influence what kind of job you take because they are going to write your letters, right? When you want to get a job, right? The second reason why you should contact a professor is that it's very important for you to introduce yourself, right? Your interest and sell yourself. It's an opportunity for you to sell yourself. All the benefit, all the good things of life that you have gained in terms of your skills, right? All the qualities you have. This is the opportunity for you to sell yourself to this individual. Say, hey, right, I have these programming skills. I have a good writing skills. I have a good command for spoken English. So it's very important for you to introduce yourself and sell yourself. The third reason is because it's important for you to get ahead of other candidates. So not every student want to contact them, but you imagine in a department, a professor is having, let's say, 3 students contact him or her, and at the end of the application, there are 10 students that applied. But the professor can only speak for those 3 he or she has communicated with. And that's why you want to be among the first people to communicate with the professor. Hey, I'm interested in your program, right? I like your research. I see you work in this area. I'm hoping I can work with you. And that's why it's very important, right? Um, the fourth reason is potential advisors may easily recommend you. So when decisions are made, the committee are going to ask this professor, hey, do you know this candidate? Because this candidate have said in their SOP that they have reached out to you. Are you aware of this person? You say, yeah, I know this person. And that's why it's very important. They're going to recommend you. I think this person have a good skills and qualities and, will be easy to teach, right? And the fifth reason, increase your chance of admission and scholarship, right? And also show respect, right? It's a way of showing respect. When you want to work with someone, you just want to tell them, it's respectful to tell them that I want to work with you. So it increases your chances. So, but what do you look out for? You don't just want to email people, right? What do you look out for, right? In that professor you want to work with, right? The first thing is you want to make sure the professor have funding or grants. So you want to make sure that the profession of the professor is in line with you, the research, the skills, right? What they teach, right? You want to make sure that, right, they are of interest to you and they have grants, they have funding to cover you. Professors will Professors willing to take new students, right? You want to also check, are the professors willing to take new students? Some professors are going to reply and say, sorry, I'm not taking students for the coming year. I'm going on sabbatical. That's why it's very important. So what happens if you had applied and then you go ahead and say, hey, I like this person's area of research, and the person is not available to supervise you? Then you have lost the application because they're going to tell you that, sorry, there's no professor to advise you on this, right? So use good caption and construct your email properly. It's important that when you want to email that you use good caption, and I'm going to cover that in a nutshell. Rather, let me open and show you this. Alright, so these are some of the captions, also called email subjects. When you want to email professors or potential professors, you want to look at these subjects, right? There are many subjects. You can say, okay, working with you during my grad study. It's very important. You can use that. Admission inquiry can be a subject. Working with your research group. Questions about graduate admission. Joining your research group or lab. Interest in joining your research group. So there are many ways you can coin or you can construct your email subjects. But whichever way, it should be captivating. It should be one that is enticing to read, right? Ensure your email is enticing to these professors, right? Um, and here I said, do not send the generic emails. Same email for everyone. Don't just copy the same email and then you attach it. And sometimes you even forget to change the name of the receiver, right? So you want to make sure, because these professors can detect, they can tell if this email is a generic one, it's not personalized to them. So what do? You want to make sure you go into their profile, look at their research area, look at what they are doing, and talk to them based on what they are doing, right? I'm going to show you an example on that. Also use personal email that shows you are a real person. For example, I use here kennethekpetere@gmail.com. This is Kenneth, my first name, Ekpetere, my last name, @gmail.com. When you look at this email address, it tells you that this is a real person because the email shows the name of the person contacting, which is Kenneth. You don't want to use something else like, oh, okay, for real or something, or I am Queenie. For example, your name is Queen Mobolaji. You don't want to use something like I'm Queenie. You want to use queenmobolaji@gmail.com. That's professional way to present yourself. Also, you also want to ask for funding opportunity. When you email them, you want to ask them, oh, okay, or maybe in their next email, you're going to be asking questions like, oh, do you have funding? How am I going to be funded? Right? Okay, will I get opportunity to go to conferences? How can I apply for grants? Those are very important questions. And I'm going to teach you this. By the time you start making your applications, you have questions regarding how you should respond to an email, and then I can walk you through. I provided a sample email that was sent to a professor, and I'm going to read this, so it's very important that we pay attention to this, right? But before we go on, I want to show you something. All right. Last time we were talking about this political science, right? And then we mentioned the University of Oregon. And then I told you how you can search for professors. Like when you go to any department, if you don't remember this, you have to go back to the video, the module where we talked about how to find these universities and these departments, right? Now we want to see how to find the professors and how to send them an email. So I go to this department, I want to look for people. Usually it's under people. Sometimes it will be under faculty. But the faculty is going to be under the people. So I'm click on the people and it's going to refresh. Then I see the faculty. We can also see the rest here. We have faculty, we have maybe other information, we have emeritus. Those are old professors, right? Now we have different professors. So we have the faculty, this is the vice president for equity and inclusion. We have associate professor, so this is Eric Beck. And we have the interest, right? She does research in terms of Latin American politics, development, gender, NGOs, microfinance, collective action. So if you have interest in any of this research area, you can. This is the person you should email. Then we'll have another example. This is Professor Emeritus. And because an emeritus may not be active professor, most times they are old and retiring or about to retire professors. This is Gerard Beck, right? And the interest in terms of American political development, business regulation, economic sociology, social theory. And then we have, and it's a cherry. So you keep checking every one of them and make sure they are professors. Either they could be professors, associate professor, or assistant professors. If you see a lecturer cannot supervise you. In the United States of America, lecturers are like teachers. They cannot supervise or advise a graduate student. They can only teach. So you want to look out for these professors and find the one that interests you. And say, for example, I find this professor and I like the area of comparative politics or European politics, or let me say African politics. Now I see more. I can click more to see, okay, is there other information for this person? Oh yeah, you can see more about the person. Once on ground, investigate. Okay, yeah. So you can read more about the person and what the research person does, and then you can understand what the person does. So by reading this person's information, for example, let's say my scholarly work investigate the ideas and institutions that came together to construct today's Europe, comparison between European Union and American federalism. So this is the area, if you're interested in this difference between the American and Europe in terms of how the politics, right, construct works, you can email this person and talk about, and when you email this person, you want to talk about these things, right? You want to mention these things that are of interest to you, and that's why your email cannot be generic, because your email is going to touch these things this area. And then you see the professor have some grants. I have a position as a senior researcher, right? They receive $1.4 million grant in their project. So this person will have money, right? Resource or fund for your research. So these are the kind of people you want to contact as well. And I'm going to show you a sample email. So this is an email that I helped the client to construct, and I've changed the name. Right, this client have a bachelor's in education geography from University of Abuja, Nigeria, and want to apply to a department that is African and African American studies in the United States, right? And now this is the idea, and I keep talking about this. The fact that you have a bachelor's degree in education geography does not mean you should continue doing masters and PhD in education geography. What happened? So this client was trying to look into African and African American Studies department. They have great funding, but the research is going to bring in the geography education, and that is what makes the person diversify. And this person can work with NGOs in terms of looking at the African unions and all that, right? So let's start by looking at the subject. Working with you in my graduate study. It's a very captivating one. Every professor will want to read this. Dear Professor Kenneth, my name is Peter Ekpetere, a graduate of Bachelor of Science Education in Geography from the University of Abuja, Nigeria. I would like to express my interest in your research as I find them fascinating. I'm passionate about research in the area of gender biases, especially relating to access to education and the role of culture in rural Nigeria and other parts of Africa. My friends at the University of Kansas have spoken highly of the Department of African and African American Studies, (AAS), and I think it will be a good fit for me and my research. I'll be glad to join your research group and department, which will afford me the opportunity to explore my interest areas and make positive contribution to the department. My CV is attached for your reading. I look forward to hearing back from you at your earliest convenience to know when and how I can proceed with my application for either spring 2023 semester or fall 2024 session. Thanks for your time and kind consideration, Peter Ekpetere. This is a well-detailed cold email to a professor, and I tell you, this client got a positive response and is on the verge of submitting an application. So you want to write a captivating cold email to professors, and you want to do your research, you want to know what they are doing. And I want to point out key things. You see the underlying stuff. We have this person was mentioning things like gender biases, right? Because in African American studies, they're looking at the African cultures, how the things change over time. So some people look at gender differences, right? Social in terms of inequality or equality of the different genders, or the girl child, women, gender, sexualities, right? You want to see how access to education, which is mentioned, what is the impact of culture, right? So that is very captivating. Those are the things you want to point out, and this is because the professors in this area also have this similar interest. So you want to personalize your email, and at the end of the day, if you write a well-detailed email, you're going to have a go-ahead, make application, and mention me in your application, and that will be your breakthrough. To summarize, I want to inform you that securing professors in graduate school is almost like having 80% of your admission done. When professor says, I like you, go ahead and submit an application, I'd like to work with you, it shows that they have confidence in you. They are going to do everything possible to get you to themselves. So you have to make sure you contact professors. And I hope this is very helpful. I hope you join my WhatsApp group, and then I'll be able to provide more information about contacting professors. In the meantime, I'll be providing document. This is a sample code email that you can use and some headings that you can use. I provide this in a Google Drive in my module. So you're going to have access to it as soon as you are joined to the WhatsApp group, and then you'll be able to access this content. I hope this is very helpful to you, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you, and see you in my next one.